Season 54, War number 1, and we're up against LOXC. This time my team will be Silk, Shathra and Corvus Glaive. I will be taking path 8 in section 1, path 2 in section 2, then an Enchantress, Maestro, Wiccan and Onslaught mini-boss, as well as a Bullseye boss there, using Corvus. It's been a while since I've been able to use Corvus in war, and well, the enemy team was kind enough to leave all 4 charges lying around, so yeah, these fights are gonna go pretty quick. Starting off here we have a Longshot on the no-hit mercy and snowballing fury nodes, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this fight with Silk. Longshot is a tactic champion, but Silk being whitelisted this season is absolutely amazing. I will more than likely have her every single war, taking the majority of the fights. The first fight here, Longshot is only a 6-star, so a single special one here, fight is done, and essentially the only damage I took was from the recoil masteries. I had them on due to the off-season we had, so I didn't bother taking them off, since the next few fights will be with Corvus Glaive. Now next up here we have a Warlock on this snowballing fury node as well, and I'm gonna be taking this fight with Corvus Glaive. This will be the first charge I need, the tech one, and while Warlock is a tactic champion and Corvus here doesn't have any charges, just single special 2 with the cosmic powerback boosts is enough to almost close out the fight, so all I needed to do is just throw in another one. I am running the cosmic powerback boosts, so just cycling those big special 2s with Corvus is usually all you really need to do. So that is charge number 1 down, on to section 2. Here we have a Domino that I will be also taking with Corvus Glaive for the mutant charge. This will be on the personal space placebo node, and yeah, Corvus isn't exactly a counter to Domino in any meaningful way, but she is a mutant, giving Corvus a charge from that, and also if she triggers the lucky passive whenever she gets a bar of power, you can try to get her to evade and knock her down to get the 3rd charge from that. But since she didn't get a lucky passive there, I didn't bother trying to stay in this fight any longer than I needed to, and just finish the fight. Special 2, special 3, fight is done. 3 charges is all I need for the Bullseye boss anyways, and it just so happens that Mantis is an Avenger, which means that will be charge number 3. So this Mantis is on the EMP modifications node along with personal space placebo and Corvus Glaive, cosmic powerback boosts, advanced power boost, just get to a special 2 and the fight is done. Mantis doesn't really get to do anything here. The mediums alone here are doing over 20,000 damage each, and the special 2, it's just way overkill. Now with Corvus essentially fully charged up, minus the evade / autoblock charge, it's an extra, it's not needed. The damage will be more than enough. And now we are on to a couple fights with the rest of my team. Starting off we have an Enchantress here on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it mini-boss node along with Aggression Prowess, and I am taking the fight with Silk. Enchantress herself is not a tactic defender this time around, so there will be no placebos to help me out. I can't inflict any wither here, so essentially this is just a normal Enchantress that I will need to take with Silk. Usually against Enchantress the best thing you can really do is just bait her heavy attacks over and over, push her to her special 3s only, eat them with the invulnerability boost, and just repeat that until the fight is done, since the special 1 is the thing that triggers her spells, and her spells are the only real issue in her kit. And now for whatever reason she decided to use the special 1 even while I was holding my block, which she sometimes tends to do for no real reason. It did end up making this fight a little bit longer, but I was able to remove the spells immediately afterwards, and now, since I'm at my special 3, the fight is essentially done. I did a full heavy attack there, knocking her down to remove the Ebb and Flow protection and to trigger the right back at it node. And that means that all of my debuffs will not apply. The debuff immunity will mean that I'm only dealing the base amount of damage that Silk deals, but even that is more than enough to close it out. 52k burst there at the end without any physical vulnerabilities on. That is pretty good, I gotta say. Didn't even need to use the invulnerability boost there, but it was just a safety net in the first place. Then a quick boost swap for the Mystic ones, just to have a bit of a safety buffer for this one as well. It's not needed, but I mean, better to play it safe than sorry. The fight here is a Maestro on the Mega Stand and when I open mini-boss node, and I am taking the fight with Shathra. Shathra is one of the champions, one of the newer Mystic champions that was basically built to counter Maestro. Mainly the atrophy on her special 1. The atrophy effect itself was built into Maestro's kit as a pretty much the only real counter to his abilities. It makes the neutronium gain slower, I believe, and it also means that the glancing and any other personal buff he triggers will just expire that much faster, which is very helpful. Even without that though, due to the fact that the damage that Shathra deals comes mostly from her special attacks as well as the burst dealt during special attacks, the glancing itself is not really a problem. All the eggs and the wasps trigger as normal even with the glancing up, so your damage will not be gimped by it. As you can see, fight went down less than a minute, and yeah, while Maestro can be tanky, Shathra just shuts him down very well. Using a quick potion here just to top up the whole team, since I still do have a fight with every single champion here. I went ahead and used some team potions, which I often forget are even a thing in Alliance War. Apparently I had some, so that is great use for those. Then Wiccan here on the Hazard Shift Shock and Bleed node along with Conflictor. I will be taking the fight with Silk. He is a tactic defender, so I will have the utility of the Withers here, allowing me to take full advantage of the Decay tactic, meaning that the Hazard Shift debuffs will basically do absolutely nothing to me here throughout this fight. So the only real thing I need to worry about is just not pushing this guy to special 3. The Conflictor node is essentially the biggest issue after that, and I just gotta manage the power bar well enough so that I don't trigger a debuff with the Conflictor up while he is at or above 2 bars of power. The special 2 is simple enough to avoid, but I haven't really practiced it. I did fail there, so I ended up just blocking the second one. Silk Soda Evade is always there if you wanna try some of the triggered X's but are not fully comfortable with them. Just go for it. If you fail, the evade will save you. Now then, we have an Onslaught here on the Conflictor and Combat to Show Prowess mini-boss node, and I will be taking the fight with Shathra. And this is a fight that I have taken before with Silk. She works just fine, just the usual special 3 rotation, and it will take the fight down without any bigger problems. But with Shathra also, I don't know, it's just a little bit more interesting, I should say. The Silk fight, sure, I love using Silk, but the rotation is identical to basically any other tankier mini-boss, so using Shathra is just the more fun way to go here. Essentially what you gotta do is the usual Shathra rotation, special 1 when you are close to 2 bars of power to get some more eggs on the opponent, then just, well, bait another special 1 here, get an opening for your heavy charge, but before I do that I do need to make sure the opponent has enough power for me to steal, to actually get up to the special 2, heavy charge to steal power, straight chained into a special 2 to make it unblockable and to get more of the vulnerabilities on the opponent for more damage, and then you just repeat that over and over. Now, technically I could have just done a heavy charge into a second special 2 immediately. I would have had less wasps left over doing so, but the damage would have been enough to finish it out. Then we have the final fight of the war, the Bullseye boss that I will be taking with Corvus Glaive, and I do have the suppression pre-fight from Mr. Fantastic. The pre-fight isn't necessary, but it does mean I can get to my special 2 without him getting to his special 1 first. Ideally, if I had all the 4 charges here instead of the 3 that I got, I could just cycle special 2 after special 2 after special 2, but with only 3 charges it is slightly less power, and I will need some hits in between specials to keep the cycle going. So before I threw the first special 2, I made sure I had more power in the reserves, so that the power bags would get me to the special 2. And the second special 2 here fell a little bit short, so I go for a striker, medium, third special 2, and the fight is done in a little over 40 seconds. That was just a joke of a fight, and also I did have to flex the Bullseye special 1 decks. And well, I say flex, but these days it's not really... It's nothing special these days due to the 60 frames per second, making dexing it a lot more consistent. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 5-1. So for once we actually started off a season very well. Only died once as an alliance, and my BG did get a donut for this one. So great start, hoping to keep it up throughout the rest of it.